Self-care is the new revolution, and that's been going on for quite some time. If we don't give people the tools, the elements, and the access to do self-care, they're not going to be able to do it. They're going to still have to rely and go to the dentist, go to the doctor, go to the specialist, go to whatever, go to chiropractor, the naturopath. All those people are very helpful, and they're there for people who don't know what to do. They're hitting a crossroads, and they need help. So we're not against them at all. It's just that once you get to the place where you can really learn and know, you actually would never have to go to a dentist and never have to go to a doctor.
Well, welcome to Biohacking with Brittany, the podcast where science meets wisdom. I'm Brittany Ford, holistic nutritionist, biohacker, and mom. And for years, I struggled with gut issues, hormonal imbalances, and the exhaustion of motherhood while running a business. Biohacking and functional medicine became my way back to clarity, vitality, and trust in my body. And that's why I'm here. Not just to share information, but to share the practices and perspectives that truly shifted my health and my life. Each week, I bring you science-backed tools, honest conversations, and rituals I live myself so you can return to your own body's wisdom and create longevity on your own terms. Because your body already knows this is just the space to remember. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so thankful that you're listening today. In this podcast episode, I got to sit down with Ian Clark, and he is the founder and CEO of Activation Products. And he really focuses on this idea of master key nature-based compounds. And we kind of get into all of this in terms of what specific compounds can we take that will unlock multiple functions in the body. Not just take this one thing to heal this one thing, but rather what can we take that will actually impact so many symptoms and health issues that we might be having. So we talk a lot about this from the mineral standpoint of iodine, magnesium, and micronutrition. And he is so smart in this space and knows a lot. It was really cool because I don't think I've actually talked about iodine so specifically on my show before. And we talk about how it impacts brain development, why pregnant mamas need it and breastfeeding mamas need it for themselves and for their babies. And we really got into the very specific details on that. And I think it's really important for any parent to listen to. Also, we talk a lot about dental health, which I wasn't honestly planning on talking to him about, but he knows so much about this, and he talks about how he lost all of his teeth, why that happened, and what he's doing today. And some of his products look incredible. The best sellers that he has, that is like this oil that you put on your gums, and he explains how the gum bacteria works, how it forms plaque, and how the teeth are actually connected to all these different organs and parts of our bodies. So super fascinating. And I just learned so much from him. Definitely check out Activation Products. They have some really cool master key nutrients like I'm talking about. And he has his own podcast, the Younger Than Yesterday podcast. I will also link for that. So Ian Clark, incredible, has 7 kids, had cancer, was bankrupt, went through so much, is Canadian. We got to talk about so many different things. And I really think this is for everyone listening. Like, there's so much to say in this episode. So enjoy this. Before we get started, a shout out to Bioptimizers. I know you guys send me questions about them. I've been using their products for 3 years. Like, they are a staple. I give them to my mom, my dad, my brothers, literally everybody. And now when I'm leaving to travel for 4 months, you better believe that I'm bringing digestive enzymes with me, because they really help to reduce the bloating and the pain in your gut if you overeat or you eat a lot of gluten or sugar or dairy or anything you might be sensitive to. I really rely on them for when we eat out as well. And so just to really help digestion and keep those symptoms at bay. I'll also bring their magnesium. I think it's really great for stress when I'm overworked or overtired. I think it's great as well before bed as something to like calm my nervous system down. My husband actually loves taking it before bed as well. So definitely check out Bioptimizers. If you use my discount code BIOHACKINGBRITTANY, you will get 15% off, which is amazing. And a shout out to my retreat. So this week I did a welcome call for a new woman who joined. I did a discovery call, which is like my alignment call, and have another woman who joined. So I can't believe it's filling up so quickly, to be honest. If you are interested in joining me in Costa Rica in March next year, I would love to have you. It would be such an honor. And I think this is really for a very specific group of women who are looking to optimize their health mentally, physically, and spiritually, and are ready for this transformation and are open to it. They're open to the healing that's going to take place there and really to like level up in all areas of their life. I wish this retreat existed when I was looking for one. So definitely, if you want to join, there are a few spots left. I would honestly join pretty quickly if I were you, because it is filling up and you will be surrounded by the beautiful mountains of Costa Rica and beautiful women as we all kind of just really sit with what we're working through and kind of understand what's going on below the surface and how we can really heal and move forward in life. And I really want this retreat to be transformational for every single woman who comes. You have to be open to it. You have to be open to letting go of ideas and thinking about things differently, which I think is really beautiful. And I think there's something for everyone who is coming. It's going to be transformational for myself as well, but I am there to hold space for you and encourage you and help you become as healthy as you can. So, you can join. It's on my website. There's a few spots left. Single occupancy, double, triple if you want to bring some friends. Sounds great. And I would love to see you there. Thank you for listening to this episode, and I will catch you soon for another one. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I am really excited to be talking to fellow Canadian Ian Clark, who is an expert in hydration and minerals, specifically iodine and magnesium. And we're going to dive into what this means, especially for women and in different stages of women's life, from pregnancy to postpartum to maybe even menopause we can touch on. I'm so grateful you are on the show. Ian, welcome.
Yes, a pleasure to be here, Brittany. It's going to be a lively conversation about a few important things that people may not have heard about before.
Yeah, absolutely. So part of what you do is you focus on specific minerals, and I'm very curious to why you picked iodine. Like, I don't see this very often in supplement companies. So why iodine?
Well, we found out, like this started about 2008. I started hearing about rumblings of iodine. And there was different types and forms. It was all over the map. And we actually did a little experiment in 2010 with an etomidine, and this spilled in the lab. Technician got it on their arm, and they went into alopecia. And it was like, whoa, that was shocking. This is a very high dose type of iodine, low volume, high dose. The last thing you want. It's actually dangerous. And the body has to have iodine. It is absolutely essential to have both molecular iodine and then iodide. There are two different forms. And it has to be low dose, high volume, totally safe, 100% cannot hurt you. And it tastes good and it works nice and it's not nasty like most iodines are nasty, or they're just iodide. So you'll see in supplements potassium iodide. You'll see it potassium iodide in salt. Okay, that is the form that your body can use to a certain extent, but it's by far not the form you really want. You want pure iodide, and first of all, pure iodine. So it's been buried. I think it was intentionally buried way back in the day because it's been more medically studied and naturally studied than any other element, yet it didn't come out to say, hey, everybody, you have to make absolutely sure today you get X amount of iodine in your diet. And it's not in the food. You'd have to eat a ton of seafood to get it, like winter cod or something. But again, that's, coming from an ocean that's contaminated. So the deficiencies show up with women, particularly in your endocrine system, your reproductive organs, endometriosis, fibroid cyst are directly connected to a deficiency in iodine, and also egg quality.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it goes into body temperature. So that the thyroid is going to monitor and control body temperature. And if your thyroid is not being fueled properly because the receptor sites are jammed up. So there's a bunch of study on halogens, right? Where you got fluoride, chlorine and chloramine and fluoride and bromide and whatever. We'll plug up those receptor sites and you got to clean them out. Well, the iodide is not going to clean it out. Iodine is what's needed to clean out. And we also have another cleanser from rosemary, clove, and thyme that goes in and helps all the receptor sites get cleaned out. So now you can get the nutrients and the elements that you're required to function, to fuel all these organs. And your thyroid can only be fueled by iodide. Can't use iodine. Right?
That's interesting.
Right, because the thyroid produces T3, T4 iodine hormones from the iodide. It converts it over. And that's perfectly balanced for your whole system. Like I talked about, body temperature, metabolism, gut health, reproductive organs, sexual function, brain health. So moms who are having children, brain health is a big thing. So making sure you have the iodine all the way through, that's laying the groundwork for the connective tissue, for all the synapse, for all the communication elements of a brain. And it keeps everything. There's just so many things tied into iodine. So when I found out about it, I'm like, wow, what's up with this? So we've got to have it. Well, what form does it have to be in? So it took until 2020 to go through all the research and all the iterations of different types of iodine to come upon what's called I2 molecular iodine crystals. And it's just a little tiny crystal, but this is USP grade, meaning totally purified at pharmaceutical standards. So you're certified to the max of that's all it is. And a lot of other iodines in the market have all kinds of other stuff in it that you don't want. So we have it in that form, and then we convert that into a gas. And then that iodine gas, which is so tiny in molecule, it gets infused into medical grade water at 300 parts per million.
Wow.
Now you have an amazingly beautiful tasting, very low dose, very high volume. Because when you go down to a gas molecule, if you took one of the little crystals, if you touched it with your finger and accidentally touched your eye, you're going to be blind in that eye. That's how strong these things are. So our technology takes that and makes it into the absolutely safe form, in the form of a gas molecule. So you take the bottle off. I should have brought a bottle over with me before we started because I didn't know we were going to get to talk about this much. If you take the top off our bottle, it has a special seal in it that will hold the iodine gas in the solution for years. If you took it off and left off for a day, tomorrow you're going to have only water in the bottle. So you take it off, you pour it into the spray bottle, take it or whatever you're going to do, and you put the cap back on and get it snug. And it'll sit there for years. It's a special cap. It's not like any other cap you would find in a normal bottle. This would leak all the stuff out within a month. It's coming out of that kind of a top. So it's just a really specialized thing, but it's super simple. And because it tastes good, it doesn't have anything else in it at all. And we can't add anything to the product. It has to go in absolute pure water because the iodine will react within the water itself and convert over to iodide before it gets into your body as molecular iodine. So molecular iodine is known for all kinds of rapid repair for the body. It doesn't repair anything. You know that, right? Your body repairs it. Your body uses the iodine to repair. You could cut the seat in your car, in your leather seat, and go put iodine on it. It's not going to heal.
Yeah.
But your body is going to use that to rapid heal, whether it's a burn or a cut or something internal. There's a bunch of studies on IQ alone is approximately 30% higher IQ when you have proper iodine for your synapse, for all your connections, all your neurological pathways from your head to your heart to your gut. So it all ties in. So I think this is, like, for moms, for women particularly, essential. Men, absolutely too. I mean, we're not leaving men out of this because I use it every single day.
Yeah. That touches on a lot of what I learned about iodine when I was studying. I've taken it before, and it's very much what you said, like all these memories are coming back of like, it tasted horrible, whatever. I don't even remember what I was taking. I remember finding out that you can take too much and too little and to be very careful because it can mess up your thyroid. That was the narrative that I was hearing. And then the other thing I learned was in pregnancy, it's very important because it can help with the IQ of the child, and that there is a potential correlation between like the diets in maybe people in like places like Japan who eat way more seafood, which is high in iodine, and have children with higher IQ. And like it was one of the things that was recommended to me when I was pregnant of like, take iodine so you can have a smart baby, to be honest. So
Right.
For all those women listening who are maybe going to have another kid or they're pregnant right now, just in that time of their life, would you say iodine is something that they should be prioritizing?
Yeah, it's in the category of must have. So there's all kinds of like to have, want to have stuff in the health space. And then there's the category of must have. And this is where your body is simply not going to function at its highest level for something that is so simple to do.
Mm.
And it's not only just for, the better brain power for the baby, your brain power, the better there's so many things touched by iodine in the body. Is pretty crazy. And, you mentioned Japan. So over there, the average consumer is having between 3 to 5 to 10,000 micrograms a day of iodine in their diet. And the governments over here, the recommended daily allowance is 150 micrograms a day. Not 5,000, not 10,000, right? Not 3,000. They might allow like 1,100 micrograms. And so why is that? And why is there a narrative around, you can only, if you take too much, you might hurt your thyroid? Well, that's because the thyroid is not functioning correctly because it's plugged up. And so the difference between T3 and T4 is out of whack. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on, and they call it Graves or Hashimoto's or hypo or hyper, all of the above.
Mm-hmm.
The real thing is the thyroid is not functioning properly because it's not cleaned out and it's not being fueled. So depending on your genetic predisposition, you're going to react different ways. Just like we all react differently to different toxicities.
Mm-hmm.
They're very different, but we all have the same problem. We have deficiencies and we have toxicity, right? Everybody's got that problem. Doesn't matter what your genetics are at that point, because you're breathing, you're consuming, you're accumulating.
Yeah.
And you have to get the accumulation brought right down to a manageable level so that whatever's coming in your body today toxically, which is going to happen, the same stuff leaves the same day. And then there's no buildup. And if you didn't find out how to do that until a certain stage of your life, well, then you've accumulated that much. It's okay. You've simply accumulated that much toxicity up to that point, or that much deficiency up to that point. Let's start to correct it. And then everything starts to solve itself. Because if you go to, you go to the doctor, you go to the practitioners, you go to get tested, get a blood panel, you're going to see all these things happen. You're going to be so unique and individual. You're going to be told, you need this and this and this and this and this. You got to do this protocol and that protocol. But if you just did a foundational reset, give yourself a bit of a break. Say, you know what? I'm going to spend 6 months. Let's just do a reset. Let's make sure I've got all these absolute must-have elements of my body. Let's gently detox. Don't go radical. Don't harm yourself with some Herxheimer healing crisis, right? Gentle, daily, simple detoxes. And let's see how I am in 6 months. Then I'm going to go get tested, or I'll get retested. Rather than trying to go, I've got this and that. And you're telling yourself you got all this stuff wrong with you. And you're trying to, right? And your body is listening. So I think it's really a lot more gentle for yourself, a lot more loving to yourself, to just say, you know what? I'm actually me, myself perfectly. I am perfectly healthy because I'm the being living inside this body. This body might have a bunch of stuff happening, but I myself am perfectly healthy. And I think my body can have that perfect health energy start to go out, and then I can find out what is the truth. You're in the biohacker world, right? How many things can you do in the biohacker world? How about 1 million things? Right. And so your discernment is to simplify and define it. What are the real things? What are the real, shortcuts to good health? And, how do I hack the system? Well, I don't know if we can actually hack a system that intelligently, but we can certainly, I think the term means I'm trying to support my body to get healthy as quickly as possible. Would that be your definition?
This episode is brought to you by Optimize Her, my women's biohacking retreat in Costa Rica, happening March 2nd to 7th, 2026. I am so excited, guys. This isn't just another yoga retreat. It's a 5-night, 6-day, science-backed health optimization woven into feminine restoration, designed specifically for women's bodies. We'll dive into functional medicine and longevity tools, experience healing sessions like sound baths and cacao ceremonies, and recalibrate with daily movement, spa rituals, and farm-to-table meals that support hormones, gut health, and vitality. It's not about fixing. It's about clearing the noise so you can actually tune into your body again. If you're ready for deep restoration and transformation, you can explore all the details in the show notes, and I would absolutely love to see you in Costa Rica. I love that. Yeah, it's like you're talking about the biology of belief, right? And I think there is an element of that like soul level, spiritual level mindset of, am I healthy? Am I not healthy? What am I choosing to believe? And you also see this when people get a diagnosis and they let the diagnosis then define them, right? Like, I am infertile. I have cancer, like whatever it might be. So for the people listening who, and I've been there, who maybe have had a recent diagnosis or had somebody say some sort of negative thing that's pretty detrimental to their life, how can they start to flip that switch of like, no, this actually doesn't necessarily mean this is true for me and my future?
Right. Well, it's literally the words you're speaking, your internal dialogue. If some doctor diagnoses you with a disease and you say, oh my God, I have, like, this is the first thing that happens. I have what? And then they go home and they tell me, oh, I have blah, blah, blah. I'm not even going to say the words because I don't want my body to even hear me say anything about I am or I have, unless it's really, really cool. And the biology of belief is far deeper than we've ever imagined. And I'm not talking about positive or negative thinking or any of that kind of stuff. It's just realistic. Do you love yourself? Yes. How much do you love yourself? Well, you're only going to answer that by what you're willing to do for yourself. And you can only be loved as much as you love yourself. You can only love someone else as much as you love yourself. If you see me doing unloving things to myself and abusing my body, you got to be careful around me if I'm doing that. Because I'm not going to be, if I don't care enough about me, how am I going to care about you? Self-care is the new revolution. And that's been going on for quite some time. But we can talk and say that, but if we don't give people the tools, the elements, and the access to do self-care, they're not going to be able to do it. They're going to still have to rely and go to the dentist, go to the doctor, go to the specialist, go to whatever, the chiropractor, the naturopath. All those people are very helpful, and they're there for people who don't know what to do. They're hitting a crossroads and they need help. So we're not against them at all. It's just that once you get to the place where you can really learn and know, you actually would never have to go to a dentist and never have to go to a doctor. That's the way, that would be the goal, right? Because if you have perfect ivories in your mouth, you've never had a tooth drilled, you've never had any plaque, you know exactly how to keep the perfect balance in your oral cavity so that nothing ever goes wrong with your teeth. And if you ever have had crowded teeth, you didn't have teeth pulled and straightened, you had the jaw gently expanded over a couple of year period with some devices that you wear, and then expand your jaw, and then your teeth can be straightened around that without having to be crowded. There's all these things that are knowledge-based. The moment you go and have your tooth drilled at the dentist, it's not a virgin tooth. You want virgin teeth. Never been penetrated, right? Never been drilled into. Because as soon as that drill goes through the enamel into the dentin, you've got damage that is absolutely making that tooth owned by the dental industry from then on. Wow. Because what are you going to do? Yeah. You can't drill your own teeth or fill your own teeth when the cavity gets. Why did you get a cavity? Because you had decay. Well, why did you have decay? Because you didn't put the perfect balance of bacteria in your mouth throughout every day of your life. And it's simple to do. You just have to have the elements. Interestingly, iodine, when you spray it in your teeth, does not stain your teeth. It helps to get the perfect color of your teeth because it removes the bacteria that's going to go in the pockets and come into your mouth and cause decay. And it's so good for you. And it goes I2 molecular iodine right into your cheeks, your tongue, under your tongue, and into your gums. It goes right into your bloodstream. And then it converts to iodide in your body when it reacts with things like heavy metals and microbial garbage and pathogenic stuff and yeast overgrowth and fungal infections. It's reactive. And it helps to neutralize those things. So it's supporting your immune system and then turning into iodide, getting picked up by your blood system. And you can spray the I2 molecular right here on your thyroid. It goes right into your skin to help clean up the thyroid. Right there. Yeah. Because when you can drink it, I drink iodine every day. The moment that I take that I2 molecular iodine and I put it in my mouth and I swish it around and then drink it. And I don't drink it straight. I dilute it down. I just put, like a cap full in about that much water. And then it goes down. So as soon as it gets into my stomach, about 95% of it will convert over to iodide. 5% will go through my system as molecular iodine, which you want both. And then it does all this work. So it's this dance between these molecules that are going to simply support your entire body. So how important to you is dental right now in your life?
Not super important right now because I'm at a pretty good place.
Do you have good dental health?
I think I have good dental health. I would like to think so. I tongue scrape. I have a boar bristled toothbrush.
That's great. That's great. So let me reframe the question. How important is it to you? What priority is it to you to maintain as perfect dental health as you can possibly have for the rest of your life?
Not a priority. Not super high on the daily list, let's say, especially as a mom.
What if I showed you how to make it super simple so you wouldn't even have hardly any time taken to ensure perfect dental health for the rest of your life?
Great. Sounds good. Sign me up.
Yeah. So what I found out in the research, and I did super deep dive research into dental health, every tooth is directly connected to a whole series of millions of pathways that go to every organ, that go throughout your body, that affect you dynamically when you have healthy teeth to make you a lot healthier because you're putting all the super clear energy. Actually, it's electrical energy, transmissional. I mean, if you go and drill a tooth, you're going to feel pain. That means you got electricity right there. And the relationship with your root to your jaw is essential. The relationship with your gums to your teeth is essential because if you have to go to the dental hygienist, you are not on the right rail. You're on the wrong track because you should never have to have your teeth scraped. You only have to have your teeth scraped is if you have bacteria going into the pockets, building microscopic skyscrapers of calcium on top of themselves to keep you away from them so they can survive. And then they go down through the root eventually and can cause an infection in the root, hence abscess. So there's all these things that are, and then that abscess is going to be dynamically, negatively affecting your body in the worst way possible. They've tied into heart conditions, heart attacks, cancers, all kinds of stuff tied directly to teeth, depending on which tooth is bad and which went to what organ.
Wow. So then how do we keep that plaque away?
By making sure you're using the iodine and the Solaris. Like our Solaris, I don't have a bottle here either, which is like so weird. Anyway, I have them all over the house. I still want to leave the camera and go get them. So Solaris is rosemary, clove, and thyme. And it's an emulsion. It's not an essential oil. It's the entire plant extract that you take the entire plant and you pull all of the like phenols, all of your plant esters, all the oils, all the pigments, everything. And we put it into an emulsion, which instantly disappears in water. And you can put it in your toothbrush. You just add it to your toothbrush, 2 drops. Boom, 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 done, done, done. And that immediately goes in and balances the pH in your mouth. and it helps maintain a super friendly environment for friendly bacteria and gets rid of the bad bacteria. The
Amazing.
iodine goes in and does a very similar thing, only from a different dynamic
Hmm.
because it's more electrical. Because you can't have a smart technology or any electronic anything that runs without iodine in the circuitry.
Hmm.
Our body's the same.
So I need to start taking that. If you're a woman juggling work, motherhood, and trying to stay healthy, you know how easy it is to feel burnt out. The fatigue, the bloating, the restless nights, the hormonal ups and downs that make everything harder. And that's exactly why I love Bioptimizers, supplements that actually work with your biology. Their magnesium breakthrough is one of my daily must-haves. It combines all 7 forms of magnesium to calm your nervous system, support hormonal balance, improve sleep, and help you finally feel grounded again. Doesn't that sound nice? And if you're tired of feeling puffy or bloated after meals, their mass enzymes and P3OM probiotics are game changers. They help you digest food properly, reduce inflammation, and keep your gut and mood balanced. Every formula is science-backed, third-party tested, and designed for real results, not just quick fixes. You can try them at bioptimizers.com/biohackingbrittany and use my code biohackingbrittany for 15% off your order. That's bioptimizers.com/biohackingbrittany, because when your gut, hormones, and nervous system are supported, everything else feels easier. Yeah, I need to start taking that because that is very interesting because I do get plaque buildup and I go to the hygienist like, I don't know, twice a year maybe. And I have on my lower teeth, and we're getting very specific here, but on my lower teeth, I have a bar at the back. It's made out of metal and it keeps them straight. And the plaque builds by this bar, the worst everywhere in my teeth, everywhere in my mouth. And I've talked to my dentist multiple times and I said, can I get this removed? And they said, essentially, I can get the bar removed, but then I would have to sleep with a night guard. And then I said, what is the night guard made out of? And then they listed all the different plastics that it's made out of. And then I said, okay, I don't want to suck on plastic for 8 hours a night. And so that's why I've left the bar in. So do you have any recommendations in terms of people who are braces, bars, and they have this metal conductor low key in their mouth?
Right. Yeah. The metal conductor is exactly what you just described it perfectly. Because it's in a saline environment, it's causing an electrical energy, and that's feeding those bacteria that are very negative. They love it.
Dang.
That's why amalgam fillings over the years were so devastating, because it was just a massive bacteria ground. It would be like for halitosis on extreme and feeding more decay, because it's the bacteria that's eating you up in the acidic environment. And so they like acidic environments. They like metal. I would definitely get a different option. You can probably find something in the composite world that is not going to off gas. It's not going to release estrogens. It's not going to mess with you, with your hormonal system. There's really high tech stuff out there. Like they make dentures out of that. So I had I had an interesting experience in my teens. I had a demolition dentist destroy my teeth. And it's a whole story. You can maybe grab one of my videos somewhere and see what I talk about, because I do little broadcasts on that. But not to bore anybody, I've had my teeth destroyed. At 21 years old, I lost my entire upper, all of them.
Whoa.
At 21, right. And then I fought like crazy because this dentist had totally drilled all deeply into all my lower teeth from number 6 on each side back. And I ended up losing all of them by 38 years old. I had spent thousands of dollars trying to save them, because you don't want to lose your teeth.
Yeah.
What happens is your jaws atrophy. So since then, I've been wearing dentures. I had no choice. And the dentures don't off-gas. They're made of very, very good quality material that just don't. The only thing, when they do the molds, I don't like that. I got to detox after that, because every 10 years, if you get a mold done,
Yeah.
then you are going to get some stuff, whatever they make the molds from. I know it's not good. So I'll put up with that a little bit, but I'll make sure I'm detoxing significantly after that. You don't need a few minutes. It's not like you're sitting there forever with stuff in your mouth.
Yeah.
But there are, if you just search technologies, it's just like you search it if you actually had a filling. If you have a filling in your mouth and you have to have it replaced, you have to make absolutely sure that it's biocompatible and it's not one of these cheap epoxy resin type fillings that are going to be causing your endocrine problem.
Mm.
And if you have metal, of course, they have to come out. Metal fillings have to come out.
Yeah.
But the reason I emphasize so strongly about dental, because if you start to have a problem with one of your teeth and it gets abscessed, they're going to tell you root canal. That's what they can tell you. And root canals are now a dead tooth on you, and it's going to eventually get, it's a low-grade infection forever. It sounds really negative, but it's just really, really realistic.
Yeah.
You're going to be fighting a low-grade infection with a dead tooth on that meridian communicating to that particular set of organ.
Yeah.
Right. So having your teeth perfect, no toothaches, no such thing as a toothache, no such thing as a decay or a cavity, no such thing as an abscess, no such thing as periodontal diseases or gingivitis, no such thing, and no more scraping. Because you'll find out when you get the Solaris and the iodine, you're going to find out how fast it works. An existing plaque will go away because you're going after the bacteria because it gets through the biofilm. These bacteria have biofilm protecting them. You got to penetrate it and get them up.
Okay, I'm so excited to try that. And I'm curious, I actually have a friend today who's going to get her molars out because her dentist said that they were starting, what did they say? Something about they were pushing in and they were going to start crowding her teeth and her teeth were going to move. So she had to go get them out. She's 32. And I was like, you're getting your molars?
You're talking wisdom teeth, right?
Oh, sorry. Yes, you're right. Wisdom teeth. Yeah.
Wisdom teeth. This is very common. Dentists love to take out wisdom teeth. It's usually about $1,000 each. It's a favorite thing. Everybody should get their wisdom teeth out.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. If your friend hasn't gone, I would phone her and say, please, please, please do not go to the dentist, cancel that appointment. And you know what the dentist is going to say? You can't cancel the appointment. There's going to be a cancellation fee. I'd be more than happy to pay for the cancellation fee. And I'll tell you what happened with my oldest son.
Oh.
He got exploited by a dentist. This is going back many years. He was only 19 years old. He's now 40. So 21 years ago, he was rushing to get out the door. And we had a bunch of work to do that day because we were working together. And he's rushing to go out the door and he's not telling me where he's going. And he never does that. And so I said, Anthony, where are you going? Well, I got an appointment. I got to be there. I'm going to be late. I got to run. There's only 5 minutes away, but I got to go. I said, we were in Toronto at the time. I said, where are you going? And so he reluctantly told me because he knew that I didn't like dentists in general. I love dentists, but I don't like the dental industry because I think it exploits people. And he said, well, I've got a dentist appointment. I'll be back at 2:00. Right. This is at 10 in the morning or 10:30 in the morning or whatever time it was in the morning. I said, really? That's a long time. What are they doing? Oh, they're taking out my wisdom teeth. I went, what? What are you talking about? You're going to get your wisdom teeth out. And I didn't know a whole lot about the health space at that time. I was just starting to learn. And so I went online immediately, Google back in that day, right? 21 years ago, and said, wisdom teeth extractions, risks, blah, 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 right? Came up and it said, basically what I determined from the research that I did in that short little bit of time, because I told him to stand there and wait. I didn't care that he was going to be late. I said, Anthony, it says here that unless it's life-threatening, do not get your wisdom teeth out because they are right by the transmandibular joint. You will do nerve damage every time you pull them out. Because they might crowd your teeth or they might impact. You've got to fix the rest of the jaw first. Let them come in properly. You pull them out, it's going to cause problems, serious problems, because they're so deeply embedded. They're called wisdom teeth for a reason. And I told him, I said, open your mouth, let me see. He had perfectly beautiful teeth all the way to the back on top and bottom. Beautiful teeth. So I said, I got to fix this problem. And he was 19, he's an adult, right? And it's not very often I'm going to interfere with my children's lives at that level. But in that thing, he goes, well, I can't cancel the appointment because they told me if I cancel it. I said, fine. I called the dentist. I was up and I said, hi, it's Ian Clark. I'm calling about Anthony Clark. And I hear he has an appointment today to get some wisdom teeth extracted for 4 teeth. Yes, sir, that's correct. He's supposed to be here right now. I said, well, we're very close by, but I'm just letting you know that my son's not going to show up for the appointment today. Oh, just a minute. Just hold it. So she put me on hold. And then the dentist himself got on the phone, not the receptionist. Mr. Clark, what is this about? I said, yeah, I'm just canceling my son's appointment today for his wisdom tooth extraction. Sir, we have booked several hours for this appointment. You cannot cancel this appointment. I said, well, my son's not going to show up. What are we going to do about that? He goes, well, there's a cancellation fee. I said, that's totally fine. If there's a cancellation fee, I can give you a credit card right now. No, we can't. Just holding it. He tried twice. He said, your son needs to have those teeth out. We scheduled this for a couple of months in advance. You can't cancel this appointment. And I got it canceled. It took me 10 minutes on the phone.
It's ridiculous.
Got it canceled. And my son has perfect teeth to this day. There is nothing wrong with his teeth. And he's 40 years old. So it's like, okay, guys, there's an agenda. I'm not talking about conspiracies. There's an agenda for every single industry. Just like an industry like what you and I are in. Okay. There are hundreds of thousands of supplements out there. I've looked at all of them. I've been in the industry for almost 21 years. And in my research, I saw all kinds of shiny objects, all kinds of amazing stuff that I thought was so cool. We had all kinds of studies behind them, but it was all designed around selling you something to fix a remedy that you could otherwise fix and get rid of entirely. We don't have to remediate. And then you can go in and look at a whole set of issues that are caused from one single problem. When you fix that one problem, all those issues go away. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting with all those issues and the problem's going to sit right there.
Yep.
So this world is running and making money off the backs of people from holding back information. Don't tell them the truth. If they want to go out and do their own research, bury as much as you can or suppress information online. I'm just telling you, the things I found out, 95% of the stuff we don't need at all.
Yeah. Right. Oh, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, actually. So in terms of like what you're saying of, there's one root cause potentially for all of these different ways that it might show up. Do you think that root cause is the imbalance of minerals within the body, including iodine, magnesium, selenium?
Yes. Yeah. So definitely that will show up as time goes on, depending if your mom was mineral deficient when she was having, forming your body in her womb, how toxic your mom was. She's going to need a lot of things. How strong your genetics all the way back in your ancestors was, because some people just are amazing, right? They show up and they never gain weight. They have perfect skin. They have perfect teeth. They got perfect energy. They're good looking.
Yeah.
Right? That's rare. But and it'd be great if we were like that. I'm not particularly like that. I'm actually quite sensitive. So as a result, I had to learn all these things that otherwise I would not have had to probably know or really wouldn't have experienced. So yeah, it's something that whatever stage you are at, you can catch yourself and then start to fix those things very cost effectively. Because otherwise you're going to spend too much time, energy, effort, and money on things that you're not going to get the actual final result from, which is what the world makes all the money on. So they say, oh yeah, wisdom teeth got to go out. And if you get a cavity, you got to drill it. That's the only answer. And they don't really tell you. They say you should brush and you should floss and you should use mouthwash, and then you might not have as many cavities. Might not have as many cavities? That doesn't sound very good. That sounds like an engineering firm that's going to build a bridge for me, and they say, it should work, right? It might not collapse. It's like, are you freaking joking? I want to know 8x times that it's not going to collapse.
Yeah.
It's not going to get a wind vibration and fall down with cars on it. So this is the approach that we have towards health now. It's just a very common sense, very solid, very intelligent approach. No messing around.
Yeah.
Get to the point. If I'm here to serve you as a person to bring tools, protocols, and elemental things to you, I better have the best. I can't just say I have the best. Have you ever met any company that didn't say they have the best?
Yeah, everyone says they're the best. It's true. Yeah.
Okay, but your job as a discerning woman is to discern what is true from what is.
Oh, yeah.
So it goes good, great, greater, greatest. So back 21 years ago, I was 46 years old, and I hit the wall with my health at 300 miles an hour. It was so disgusting. We have 7 children. My youngest daughter was 6 years old at the time, Anna. And we're raising this family, and we're in Toronto, and I just slammed into the wall.
Yeah.
And so I was like, whoa, I had a huge tumor in my perineum. I had heart disease symptoms. I had liver problems. And I wasn't even abusive at all. I didn't drink or smoke. I was a regular family guy, but I didn't know that you do not eat genetically modified organism food. You do not eat things that are not organic because they're conventionally sprayed with human fecal material. That's the real reason, right? They're not GMO. And I didn't know about hydration. I didn't know about managing stress. I thought I was invincible. I didn't know about fungal infections. I didn't know about candida yeast overgrowth. I didn't know about heavy metal. And I was loaded with heavy metal. I was full of lead, mercury, and cadmium, and all these other things from the oil field. I worked in the Alberta oil field for 17 years in the field from 18 till 35 years old. I got super poisoned. That showed up only, I was 46, 10 years later. After I left the oil field, all this stuff showed up. And it blew me off the charts. It was like, whoa, I'm getting scanned and going to the doctors and specialists, and they're like, yeah, we got to do surgery and we got to do this. And I was like, are you kidding me? I remembered 26 short years before that, when I was 20, I watched both my uncles die. They died within 1 year of diagnosis. They're on my mom's side of the family. I looked like one of them at the time. I was way overweight, looked just like him. My uncle Don. And they both were diagnosed with terminal cancer in 1977, actually. But they died in 1978. So they died in September of 1978, 2 days apart, one on the other one's funeral. So that left a huge impact on our family and me. I was like, wow. It was hard to process that because I thought they were old, but I knew they weren't that old.
Yeah.
At 51 and 54. And they did everything the doctor said. They followed exact procedures. And they died right on time. And I thought in 2004, surely we have way better information.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was just the same info and the same offerings. So I phoned my brother in North Bay. He was a medical doctor for 30 years up there as a general practitioner. And I told him, this is what I got going on. He goes, yeah, well, you better follow through. He says, you're genetically predisposed to this because you look like Uncle Don. And so it's in your genetics. I said, well, no, that's not good. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
He goes, well, it just is what it is. He said, I've seen thousands of patients come to my clinic. He has 11 doctors working for him up there as well. He said, all walks of life, all religions, all genders, all everything. He said, it's all the same genetic predisposition. You get the person struggling to be healthy, juicing and eating organic, and they die at 35 of cancer. You get the guy partying his face off and eating out of the dumpster and dies at 94. That was my brother's attitude.
Wow.
And there's really nothing you can do about it. And I said, no, there has to be something else. There's what's called the alternative world, right? Well, actually, that's the natural world, is not the alternative world. The medical thing says, well, that's the alternative.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So I said, there's people out there who have knowledge. And he goes, if you go down that road, there's nothing but a bunch of snake oil salespeople. There's no double-blind, placebo-controlled randomized studies. There's no validation. You're going to be totally screwed up. You got serious life-threatening things happening in your body right now. You have got to let the medical professionals deal with this. And in the middle of all that chaos, where I was like super freaked out, I woke up one morning and I realized there are people on this earth somewhere who have the highest level of knowledge when it comes to supporting the body's natural ability to heal. It was like this little download I got. It was like, of course they exist. Why didn't I think of that before? And then I realized that finding them was like mission impossible because I didn't know where to start because I'm not in that space. I was running my little company that did elevators and for wheelchair platform lifts at the time. My company would be bought out by another company. I was working in Toronto in that company for my company and their company. Anyway, I just realized that they exist. And so I immediately asked out loud, and that's where it's coming back to the biology of belief and the words spoken. I said, I am not demanding anything. Obviously, I don't know what's going on because my body is falling apart very rapidly. So my awareness is very low, but I know these people exist. I'm asking to be led to them. That's it. I can't make it happen. I can't make it not happen. I'm just asking. And if I'm led to these people and I get the actual highest level of intelligence in the natural healing world, I'm willing to do whatever it takes if I'm shown something. I didn't say, if I get shown, I'll go save the world. I didn't say that. I'm in survival mode. I'm not going to be altruistic. I just wanted to learn. And I made a commitment to myself and to the one I'm asking that if you show me and lead me to these things, I will do whatever it takes. And you don't know what you're going to be required, right? Like, what have you gone through in your life learning about detox and all these things that you might have to do?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not so comfortable, right?
No. No, of course not. Of course not. Yeah, that's so interesting. And it's honestly, I do find like some of the healthiest people I know are the people who are sick, who are very sick. And there was this shift of like, I need to take radical responsibility for my health in order for me to actually be as healthy as I want to be and stop outsourcing it to the white lab coats, like the doctors, the specialists, and everything like that. That narrative or that like, journey is very, very common. And I went through that myself. But I also find that there is pushback from some people when we talk about this because it feels like another thing we have to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, now I have to learn all about the oral microbiome and take all these things. And I'm already, whatever someone might say, a mom, I'm working, I blah, 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 all these things. And now I suddenly have to be an expert in health. I don't have time for that. I'd rather go see an expert. So when people kind of give that pushback, like, what would you say?
I say I wholly agree with your situation. I get it because overwhelm is no fun.
Yeah.
And if you're already in overwhelm and then you're having to add even one thing on top of an overwhelm is no good. What I found out is that the world wants you to be dependent on it. They want dependence. Look at Canada. They force us to pay for healthcare, whether we get healthcare or not.
Mm.
Right? And then they say, well, now it's free. You don't have to worry about the bills. You can just go to the hospital. Let us take care of you. They make us super dependent on an infrastructure system that I think is a very important system because that system is there to support people who don't know what to do. Can you imagine just telling somebody, you can't go to a doctor or a dentist anymore? Really? How's that? You mean, and if I do, I have to pay full? Come on. So I understand the infrastructure and how that's a very powerful support mechanism that is essential because only a tiny percentage of the population is going to wake up enough and go, you know what? I just want to learn the simple things. My job was to go out and simplify it. I went through all this complex stuff. I got to learn from the top levels, but then I started piecing it together and it eliminated all this noise. I mean, just go down to the health food store and watch how much noise you're going to get with. You're going and looking at the shelves like, where do I start? It's so expensive. It's this, it's that. Where do I begin? And then somebody comes in, the expert will come, well, we should buy this and buy that because they're on the floor selling stuff. They're trying to sell for this health food store. And they might have knowledge enough to be danger enough to get you to buy a whole bunch of stuff. And then then you buy it all thinking you need it all. You get it home, you put it, I've done this, right? You put it on the counter and go, how did I just do this? What am I going to take this and this and that and that? And the whole time listening is correlating and making sense that I should do this, I should buy that. And I did. But then it's overwhelmed. And I realized I'm not going to do that. I'm not even a mom struggling with little children trying to juggle that with a full-time job or something that these people are facing. So if I'm not willing to do it, no one's going to be willing to do it because I'm willing to do anything. So I said, okay, we got to make it simpler. Got to spend the least amount of time, least amount of effort, least amount of energy, the least amount of money and get the maximum amount of return because you're going to do something anyway. Mom's still going to brush her teeth and she's still going to floss.
Yep.
Right. She's still going to, take her little supplements here and there. She's going to do that. And all you do is replace, do something far superior. It costs less money, takes less time, and it delivers the actual result.
Love that.
So our job is not to sell people. Oh, we have the best. You got to have this. No. Our job is to reveal data, however you want to pronounce it. And it's intel. And so we've let everything like the cream rise to the top. We've let all the stuff boil off. So we just have the definitive things. And then we say, okay, now you are going to make your decisions of what you can possibly sustain right now. And you can't add everything all at once. Don't do that. Add one thing. Just, you're going to do this, and you're just going to add it in. It's only going to take a few seconds a day. And then you're going to get used to that. And then you're going to add another thing. And then you're going to start to find out personally, you're going to sell yourself on this because you're going to find out from results, because everything's results driven. And I found a ton of stuff I did not give me any results that were promised to me. They got filtered out. And once you get results, then you get enthusiasm. Okay, well, that actually worked. Wow. Am I ever glad I found out about that? Am I ever glad I tried that? And I did it. And then it becomes a little habit that sticks. And it actually replaces a habit you already have that you don't realize. Look how much you do in a day. From the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed at night, you are a very active person. Okay? You are already doing a ton of stuff. So your job and my job, our position, our role is to make it already simplified for people. We invested $35 million in the last 10 years back into learning what is the truth, what actually works. And then we put a manufacturing facility together. We're a raw material value add manufacturer, going from the purest raw materials in the world to the simplest possible product that actually delivers, is packaged correctly. It can be understood. And that's what we do. We simplify, because that's what greatness is. Taking something so complex and overwhelming and making it simple and applicable and implementable so you can actually do it. And that's what your audience and my audience relies on this totally. And we love and appreciate that, because if I want something for me, I want to spend the least amount of time, energy, effort, and money on whatever it is with the maximum return and no shortcuts.
Yeah.
And what do you want to do? And I'm speaking to you, the listener. You want to look good. You want to feel good. You want to have no pain. You want to have no frustration. You want to be loved, respected, heard, appreciated. You want to have good energy. No pain is allowed in your body at all. You do not want to be stressed out at all. You want to have stress-free living. And you can do that by managing your autonomic nervous system with certain things you'll do that are very relaxing. And once you learn these, what I would call master keys, and that's just my little term, it's sort of a common term, but a master key will unlock a lock that would take hundreds of keys otherwise. One master key just goes in and just solves the problem. So we're master key holders, and now we just share that information so people can have a life. The last thing anybody wants to do is chase their tail all day long to be healthy.
Yeah.
They just want to be healthy. And so the more you learn about it, the more simplify you get it, the more you connect with people like us who share this freely. It cost us $35 million to learn. I'm not going to charge anybody a dime for that. That money was given to us through generating revenue by sharing important things with people. It's not my money. We put it back in. We generated over $100 million to be able to have 35 million, to be able to reinvest it. I didn't need to worry about me. I was taken care of the whole time. All my sicknesses were gone within 7 years. The tumor dissolved out of my body in 7 years by me simply following a protocol. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. This is such a cool approach. And I love the idea of a master key. I think that's such a good analogy of what you're talking about. And it's also just very encouraging and what's the word? Not motivating, but like inspiring, because like you can actually do it yourself, right? Like you can actually do it yourself, and it doesn't have to cost a lot and doesn't have to be complicated. And I love that. And if I know we're running out of time here, if people want to try your products, especially some of the ones that you mentioned, where can they do that, and how can they connect with you?
So they can get, I think you'll have some kind of a link, because we always give a special promotion on this. Did anybody give you that?
Yeah, there's a discount code. I think it's BIOHACKINGBRITTANY for 15% off. I think it is. I can double check.
Yeah, good. That sounds right. So BIOHACKINGBRITTANY is like afterwards, right? Or in the discount box. Also, they should definitely provide a link for you, because this is not live. This is recorded, right? So you can have time to get the link, but are super important that people can get a discount, because we have already got our prices as low as possible. We've literally not raised our prices in the last 11 years, even though inflation changed We were just trying to get more efficient, more volume, better buying power to be able to transfer that over to our clients, because that's a really important thing. And so, like the activationproducts.com, obviously they're going to be able to find us there, but it's best to use their link and definitely have the code, because otherwise they won't get the discount. And so they can access that and then just go in there and try one at a time. They can also find me with a ton of free info on Ian Clark Activated on Instagram and Ian Activated on TikTok and YouTube. So I've been publishing mostly on Instagram. So I got 260 some thousand followers there, which is nothing yet, because I don't even like the term followers. I like people subscribe themselves to learn for themselves. And also I'm going to get into publishing on a daily basis, going on lives for 1 to 2 hours every day I can. And that means every day if possible, to just open up to questions and answers. Anybody can come on and ask any question they want. If I've learned the answer to that question, I will share it right there. If I haven't, I have resources I can tap into to get the answers to those questions that are the actual answers, not some fluffy, frilly thing trying to sell something, right? It's real hardcore, because we're here to serve people. I'm in my 68th year and I've never been healthier in my entire life. I have zero pain. Every joint works perfectly. All my organ functions are dialed in. My brain power is far superior than it was 20 years ago. So it's just that I want to share with people. How do you do that? Because I actually learned that. I was shown that. I didn't come up with any of this stuff. I had to be shown each step of the way. And all I did was assemble things. That's it.
I love that. It's very inspiring. And I appreciate that, because I want to feel like that when I'm 68. It's like sharp and with it. And the ability to like run around with grandkids or whatever it might be. Like that's the goal, is like, that's why longevity is so interesting. It's like, okay, so, double my age or whatever in my second half, whatever you want to call it, is like, how do I still feel as good as I feel right now? Or even like when I did when I was 20 is really the goal.
That's right. And I don't look at a number anymore. I've turned 67, so I'm in my 68th year right now. The system starts at 0. But it doesn't mean anything to me anymore, because I know that at 78, I'll be far healthier. At 88, I'll be even healthier. Yeah. It's all about quality of life. It's not how long we live. It's the quality of life as we live, because today is when our life is. Today, not tomorrow and not yesterday. Today is our life. When you get to the end of this day today, you're in your twilight years. You're going to literally go into a death type of thing when you sleep, and you will be resurrected tomorrow morning for a new day, a new life. You've had thousands of lives already. Wow. And so we look at today as our life, rather than down the road I might be. No. How about right here, right now? Where are you, right? And we want to still do.
Yeah. Yeah. And you only have right now, right? Like tomorrow is not guaranteed. So like there's things can happen in the blink of an eye as well. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that perspective. Thank you for sharing all your links and your information. I will put it in the show notes and on my website so everyone can find you easily. Really appreciate this conversation. And honestly, I feel very inspired by you and the work that you do.
And likewise, I'm really, really pleased with the work you're doing. You're helping the most important people on the earth, the moms and the women, who I say they're the most important, because they are the core of our support of men. Men have to get out there and build all that stuff. Right? All the construction stuff, all the roads, all the airplanes, all that stuff. Women can do it too. But women are mostly taking care of us. Yeah. Taking care of the family and taking care of themselves, and reading and listening and inspiring others. So you're extremely inspirational. That's why you do the work you do. You've been called to do this, a mission. You're a missionary. Yeah.
So, thank you.
Right.
Thank you for listening to Biohacking with Brittany. I hope today's conversation gave you something to take into your own life, a practice, a perspective, or simply a reminder to trust your body. If you love this episode, please leave a review, share it with someone else who could benefit, and join me over on Instagram at BiohackingBrittany for more. And if you're ready to go deeper, you can explore my retreats, community, favorite tools, all linked for you in the show notes. Until next time, remember, your body already knows.